This is an excerpt from a document the prosecution calls a blueprint for murder, allegedly written by Rex Heuermann. It is meticulous. It is organized. It is the anatomy of a process. For decades, a ghost haunted this stretch of Long Island, creating a bone garden in the sand. But this document suggests he was not a ghost at all. He was a planner, an architect, and this is the alleged anatomy of his design.
The human mind holds infinite complexities and sometimes profound darkness. What shapes a monster? What drives their chilling compulsions? We seek the answers. This is Anatomy of a Predator.
Our story begins not with a killer, but with a search. In May 2010, a young woman named Shannon Gilbert vanishes after a frantic 911 call from the secluded community of Oak Beach. For months, police search for her. Then, on a cold December day, a Suffolk County police officer named John Malia and his canine partner Blue are conducting a routine training exercise along the desolate Ocean Parkway. Blue pulls him into the thick, thorny brush. There, they find it. Not Shannon Gilbert, but something else entirely. It is a skeleton, wrapped in burlap. Within days, the search intensifies, and 3 more bodies are found in the same manner. They are Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. Along with a 4th victim found later, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, they would become known as the Gilgo Four. The more police looked, the more the bone garden grew. By 2011, the remains of at least 10 people had been found. The sand of Gilgo Beach had become a serial killer's dumping ground.
And then, silence. For more than a decade, the biggest serial killer investigation in Long Island history went nowhere, crippled by a perfect storm of chaos and controversy. Jurisdictional infighting between different police departments created confusion. But the biggest roadblock, according to many sources, was Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke. Burke, a controversial figure who would later be jailed for corruption, actively blocked the FBI from participating in the case, cutting off access to their superior resources and profiling expertise. In the information vacuum, theories ran wild. Was the killer a cop? Was it multiple killers? The case grew colder and colder, shielded not just by the desolate landscape, but by a fractured and compromised investigation. While the hunt stalled, the man the prosecution now claims is the killer was living a life of perfect paradoxical normalcy. In Manhattan, Rex Heuermann was a respected architect, a troubleshooter known for his encyclopedic knowledge of building codes. But back home in Massapequa Park, he was the quiet, odd neighbor in the ramshackle house, a man whose 2 worlds could not have been more different. We must perform an autopsy on this double life. His past contains the quiet traumas of bullying and the early death of his father. Did this create a mind obsessed with having a secret world where he alone was in control? He was a known hunting enthusiast and an avid gun collector. His colleagues saw a professional. His neighbors saw a quiet family man. The prosecution sees the mask of a monster. In 2022, a new interagency task force blew the dust off the cold case files. They ignored the old rivalries and started from scratch. They focused on a series of taunting calls made to Melissa Bartholomew's teenage sister shortly after she disappeared.
calls made from the victim's own phone. They traced the pings and found a digital ghost, a burner phone that moved in tandem with a personal cell phone belonging to a quiet architect from Massapequa Park. The hunt was on. A surveillance team followed Heuermann. They watched as he threw a pizza box into a crowded Manhattan trash can. They recovered it. The DNA from that single discarded crust was an alleged match to a male hair that had been sitting in an evidence locker for over a decade. After 12 years of silence, the ghost finally had a name.
The arrest was just the beginning. The house on First Avenue became a museum of secrets. In the basement, behind a locked bank vault-style door, investigators found his alleged inner sanctum, a soundproofed room, an arsenal of over 200 firearms, a library of violent, misogynistic pornography. This was the alleged workshop, just one floor below his sleeping family. And on a computer, they found the alleged monster's mind on paper, the blueprint, a meticulous guide to killing, with sections on body prep and supplies. The ghost, it seemed, was not just a planner. He was an architect of death.
Rex Heuermann is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families.
The man he calls a demon is a 6'4" architect. He's charged with killing Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, and is the prime suspect in the death of Maureen Brainerd Barnes.
The case file contains more than just physical evidence. It contains the wreckage of human lives, the family of the accused, their world shattered by an accusation they cannot comprehend, and the generational trauma of the victims. In a heartbreaking development, the daughter of Gilgo victim Valerie Mack was recently arrested herself, trapped in a cycle of instability that began the day her mother was stolen from her. The alleged crimes of one man have created ripples of suffering that are destroying families even now, decades later.
And the picture continues to expand. In 2024, the prosecution charged Heuermann with 2 more murders, stretching his alleged timeline back to 1993. Suddenly, the quiet decade was no longer quiet. It was just unheard. The ghost may have been haunting Long Island for as long as 30 years. The question is no longer just about the Gilgo Four, but about how many other secrets the sand holds.
The prosecution believes the evidence paints an undeniable portrait of a monstrous predator. Rex Heuermann's defense maintains his innocence. We have journeyed through the controversial investigation, the victim's terror, and the chilling paradox of the accused. The full truth of what happened in the house on First Avenue is still being unearthed. The final verdict is not yet written. The question is now yours to consider. You've seen the evidence, the psychology, and the human cost. What do you believe? Guilty or not guilty?
So what is the anatomy of this predator? While Rex Heuermann is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, the psychological portrait painted by the evidence is coherent and terrifying. It is the portrait of a man fractured by childhood resentment and a profound need for control. It is the anatomy of a paradox, a meticulous planner who lived in chaos, a respected professional who allegedly harbored monstrous secrets, a man who, the prosecution says, built two worlds, one of glass and steel and another of bone and burlap. The blueprint was not just a document, it was the operating system for a double life, a life that allowed a quiet man from a quiet street to allegedly become one of the most prolific and elusive predators in American history.
If you made it this far, thank you for joining us on this deeply complex and disturbing investigation. Our mission here is to bring these dark stories into the light, not for shock, but for understanding. If you believe this kind of deep dive is important, liking the video helps ensure these stories are seen and the victims are not forgotten. To be part of our next investigation, please consider subscribing and joining our community. The files are full of monsters, and our work is never done. Let us know in the comments below which predator's mind you believe we need to dissect next.
Monsters aren't born in the darkness. They are made in the quiet shadows of our world. By dragging their anatomy into the light, we learn their patterns, we honor their victims, and we take away the shadows where the next one might be hiding. Until we open our next case file, stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay out of the shadows.